Oh, would you look at that? You have questions, and I just happen to have answers. What's up, guys? I'm Hunter, and here to do a nice little breakdown and discussion, or really a Q&A. The first of what I think will be just a monthly series, aka I'll do it every single month, for patrons and members. Essentially, if you're a patron member, you will get, I think I'll post it like at the start of each month. Maybe I'll do the video for the first, and then I think I'll post the next Q&A session or QA prompt on the second, where I'm just going to answer any of the questions y'all have, because y'all deserve to ask questions, and particularly they can pertain to any series I cover. They can pertain to me. They can pertain to pretty much anything. There's some I won't answer because, like, I know some of y'all, but still, you want to get in on the next Q&A? I have, I think 13 or 14 questions to get into for this video right here. But with that being the case, you can just become a patron. It's as low as $1 a month. Anyone can participate in these Q&As. You can become a member. It's as low as $3 a month. And of course, you get all the other perks such as live reactions, early videos, ad-free content, all that. But enough plugging. Let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. Editing me. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? Editing me really didn't have to do that. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here. Fun fact. I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. We'll start. You know, I'll do this. I'll switch back and forth every month. We'll start with the patrons this month. Well, the first question I got on this one from King Bond. Number one, when the matchup's coming back, we are starting. Now, I'll admit, wait. They ain't coming back anytime. I'm lying. I'll do you one better. First things first, matchups will be coming back starting next year, because I want to do a whole bunch of bulk recording on a whole bunch of matchups. I want to have at least 10 done so I can become a weekly series again. And so far, I got 10 scripts ready. I haven't done the drawings yet, though. I haven't recorded them yet, and I still need to edit them because I want them to be my highly edited content. Essentially, I want Versus Battle to be my highly edited content, and like another series that has kind of been going for a while. I want both of those to be my highly edited content, so anytime I'm going to be bulking up those for the foreseeable future. But as a bonus, the first Versus Battle I plan to do is going to be a 7 Deadly Sins in Universe Versus Battle. It'll be Lancelot versus the Supreme Deity, because I think that's a fun matchup that I do want to discuss on the channel. And ironically enough, King Bun over on his other account has actually covered the matchup a little bit. I've kind of given some of my thoughts over there, but I have a whole script written out the scenario, and in fact, there's something extra I'm going to start incorporating into those videos for fun that'll probably, it'll depend on how I do it. I have ideas for the Versus Battle series that are going to be coming back. I'm going to implement them. I'm going to do my darn thing, but yeah, they'll be coming back the start of next year. In fact, I'm going to darn near make a binding vow. It's 2 months from now, so let me see. When is the first Monday of January 2025? So next Versus Battle will be dropping approximately Monday, January 6th, 2025. Bada bing, bada boom. Obviously, patrons and members will just get that earlier. Like, the moment, typically I want to start doing it so that the moment a video is done, patrons and members will get access to it. I don't want to just hold it. So if I ever do, not if I ever do, once I get that Versus Battle done, which will probably be before the end of November, it'll be up for patrons and members. But of course, that's the first question by King Bond. There's your answer. Sorry for the delay. Once again, it's just been like really busy in my life recently, and thusly I've been doing a lot more like let's just do reviews. Let's cover this. Let's cover that. Let's do quick discussion videos. But I do want to get back more into the highly edited content. I want to get back to using more of the channel name, gosh darn it. But as you can probably tell, unless I start doing what I used to do, which was like record the audio and the drawing at the same time, which I hated because like all the audios on those videos suck, and I could never focus on both. I need a yap and I need to draw at the same time. I can't do it at the same time. I need to do it separately in order for either to come out remotely quality. So I'm going to be pre-recording and doing a bunch of stuff with that soon. But with that being the case, the next question from King Bond still. How did you get into 7 Deadly Sins? Ironically enough, it was the first season of the anime. And I think it wasn't even fully intentional. I think it was the first season of the anime that I just saw on Netflix one day. And I was like, why not? And I really, really like the animation. I really, really like the characters. I was like, oh man, it was a little bit weird. Like, because that's still technically in like my earlier anime phase where I was like just starting to get into more and like look out and branch out more. And thusly, when I first saw 7 Deadly Sins, I was like, whoa, it's kind of heat. It's kind of heat. So I've been addicted like literally ever since. First season of the anime came out on Netflix all the way back then, and then I just picked up the manga. Like, I have some really fond memories of even reading the manga as it came out. Like, I remember I was nowhere near home for some reason in, like, the middle of the Vital Fighting Festival arc. And not the first one, obviously. I watched the first season of the anime. But, like, the second one. I've been reading Seven Deadly Sins weekly. Like, the earliest memory I have of reading it weekly was specifically around that point, which is, like, the 162s, I think? Like, it was right before the Ten Commandments came and jumped Meliodas to oblivion. So, yeah, I've been here for a while. I think it's literally been... Has it been 10 years? Almost 10 years. I've been on Seven Deadly Sins for a minute now. So, yeah, that's how I initially got into Seven Deadly Sins. If you couldn't tell, the character that got me the most addicted was Meliodas, which is why... Ever since I've been glazing him to the moon and back, I've been looking to scale the verse insanely so I can get in conversations. I love Seven Deadly Sins. I always have loved Seven Deadly Sins. I'm going to start doing more discussion videos and stuff on that soon. JJK did immediately like grab me by the throat and hijack me and the channel, but now it's done. So while there will be retrospective work, there's a whole bunch happening in Fortnite right now. The single series 2 Seven Deadly Sins, so do not be surprised when more and more and more of those videos come out. Especially considering I still do want to do a retrospective on part 1. I'm just going to sit down, buckle down, and do it. But that all being the case, let me hop into the third one by King Bon. Are you into any sports? Basketball. And occasionally football. I'm more in and out on football, I'll admit. And I'm not talking about, like, world football. I'm talking American football. I don't necessarily have any favorite teams. I'm just a... This guy sounds so bad. I'm just a LeBron glazer. I'll admit. I'm one of them. I'm one of them, all right? I don't care. Is LeBron on the team? Well, guess what? I'm suddenly a fan. so that's the basketball story for me. Though I really just enjoy watching the sport of basketball. It's kind of the opposite of the question, but do I like baseball? No. I think playing baseball is interesting enough, but watching baseball is boring. It's like watching paint dry. How people feel about golf, I feel about baseball, and I also feel about golf. But the two sports I do typically stay remotely tapped into are basketball and football, American football. I used to watch soccer when I was younger, but I don't know. I think I just got detached and then bored. And thusly, I have not watched soccer since, which is why whenever you see me in my Blue Look reviews, I'm kind of like reaching into the comment section because I'm like, I have no idea. I'm not actively engaged with the sport of soccer and or football, as the world knows it, in literal years. So those are my big two. Is there a third one that I wrote? Not really. I don't know. I'm a strange fella. A lot of my general content consumption, because shock horror, I am both a content creator and a content consumer. YouTube. Like, sometimes the most random thing. Like I said, I've never played things like Deltarune or Undertale ever. Never. But I've consumed more hours of content on that duology than I have, like, darn near anything else. Other than, like, Seven Deadly Sins stuff, Kingdom Hearts stuff, and stuff like that. But let's move on to the next question by King Bon, with the penultimate question: favorite series. Now, favorite series. I'll do anime and manga. I say I'll do three. I'll do game, I'll do anime, and I'll do manga. But the manga I'm gonna cheat, and the anime I'm also gonna slightly cheat. My favorite game series is Kingdom Hearts. Like, I want to say it's Pokemon, but admittedly, I have fallen hard off the Pokemon wagon. Well, I've fallen hard off the Pokemon wagon for a while now. Like, there's a reason I was covering it excessively in the youth of the channel, which is now like 5 years old now, which is so crazy to think. But in the youth of the channel, I was a Pokemon addict. That's why there are a whole bunch of old Pokemon videos I do want to redo one day, because I still do have passion for the series, but I haven't personally bought a Pokemon game in like 4 years. I have some more recent ones, but I think the last game I went and personally purchased was Sword and Shield, which is now going on like 5 years old, I do believe. So, I don't know. Pokemon was, but that was the only competition. Because one of my favorite video games of all time is Bakugan Battle Brawls for the DS. That's the only game in that series. So I feel like it's hard to call that a series. And thusly, I gotta go with Kingdom Hearts. It has my heart and my soul. I don't know what happened. I've long since been emotionally attached to that series. It is now a part of me. As long as my wife permits it, Dearly Beloved will be played somewhere at the darn wedding. But with that being the case, for my favorite manga, it's actually not even a manga, it's a manhwa. For the longest time, it actually was Monkey, the Labyrinth of Magic, but then I read God of High School. I've been obsessed ever since. It's been sneaking more and more into the channel, kind of like how the undergrowth of the channel is Kingdom Hearts, and like you can see it everywhere, from the end screens to some of the openers. Like, Kingdom Hearts is basically the music basis of the channel too. It's Kingdom Hearts and Fire Emblem. Like, I will keep subconsciously messaging you with Kingdom Hearts music until you play Kingdom Hearts if you haven't already. And if you have played it already, play it again. But that is basically my obsession. But then for the manga sphere, for the longest time it was Magi, even with my gripes with the ending, which I know some people might be like, you really like Magi that much, even though you complain so much about its ending? Yeah, after a reread, I've accepted the ending more than I did previously. And not necessarily the ending, just the back chunk of the arc. Because the ending itself is fine in my opinion. But I think it is that. For the longest time, it was Full Metal Alchemist. Then I read Then it became Magi. Then I read God of High School. And God of High School is a series I literally have nigh on zero complaints about. Like, literally none. I mean, maybe minor complaints here or there. Like, the start of the story is a little bit slow. And that's about it. And it takes a while for it to get into, in my opinion, its most peak aspects in terms of overall character writing and action, stuff like that. Like, I think it takes a while. But, like, as a person who can consume 170 chapters of manga in, like, a day or two, or 3, it took me 3 days to read all of Dandadan while I was doing other things. Like, God of High School, despite being 531 chapters, is an easy read, at least for me, and I'd recommend it to anybody. I don't talk about it too much on the channel just because, like, I don't know. There's no real reason to, but because it's a manhwa and not necessarily a manga, and it's over, I don't necessarily have any reason to mention it. Though I do glaze it all the time, and you'll consistently hear me reference it in different videos. But this last one by King Von, my experience at the parties, none. Like, literally, I'm old, but I'm not that old, alright? And I'm not of any sort of fan. No, there is none. Gosh darn it. What are your experiences at the parties, huh? Huh? What are your experiences? If you were asking this. Because why would you ask? Unless you knew. But overall, thank you, King Blah, for all the questions. Thank you so much for your support. Let me hop right into the next person, Perp Pop, who has, I believe, 2 questions? Yeah, 2 questions. 2 questions. First, top 5 Knights of the Apocalypse only characters. Now, I'm not sure if he's asking power-wise. I should have asked this when he asked me the question. I'll do both. I'm not sure if he's talking power-wise and character-wise, but Knights only characters, my favorites. Of course, I have to strip away a whole chunk because I do love a lot of the Emily Sins cast. In terms of raw power, Knights only characters, Lance has to be number 1. Like, I can't include Kenneth King Arthur, obviously, so it has to be Lance. Then I'd say, at this point, probably Percy? Yeah, probably Percy. Percy's definitely number 2 at this point. It straight up is the Knights. Then I'd probably go Tristan, I'd probably go Gawain. I'll actually know. Because once again, it's hard to tell. So I'd probably go power-wise, Lance at 1, Percy at 2, well, actually, maybe Nanashi. Maybe Nanashi right there in the middle. Because we just don't know how Nanashi scales to anybody else because he fought Lance and barely did any damage to him. So, like, it's Lance, then Nanashi / Percy probably, then Tristan, then Gawain. And I think that's literally 5. Those are the top 5. Well, actually, no, Nanashi's not new. So I can kick him out. Never mind. I don't even include Nanashi because he's a Emily Sins character. So it probably is literally the Knights. And then, who's the 5th? Who's the 5th? New character. Probably at least like Spirit Amp. Well, no. I can use any of the chaos. Oh, actually, hold on. Kick him out. Probably Beltreep. Beltreep is probably up there at this point, right? Like, at least off the top of the dome piece. He has the narrative, and so far, then again, like, Donnie and Anne are, like, weird in terms of scaling. And they do believe they can, like, rob him and mug him. So, probably still lands at 1. Then I'll probably put Beltreep just because of his narrative hype so far and, like, his crazy abilities, seemingly. Like, he's the master of Onflin. I assume he's very powerful. I love the Glaze Ballin, but I can't Glaze Ballin just yet. But actually, I think I can definitively put Ballin above Gawain for now. So, like, it probably does go something like Lance, Beltreep, Ballin, Percy, and Tristan. If I had to give, like, a top 5. Character-wise, 4 Knights only. I was going to say this for a video, but once again, this is Q&A. I'm legally obligated to answer any questions except for questions that seem a little bit devious. But, Pop, I think I'd probably say, stroking the beard, thinking about it, Lance, is he still my number 1? You know what? Percy's caught up. Because we haven't had Lance in so long, Percy's caught up to be my favorite exclusive Fortnite. Oh, can I even include Tristan in the top 5? I mean, I feel like that's gas in the top. I feel like not being able to include Tristan or Lance in the top 5 power discussions just because they do technically exist in the Emily Sins Part 1. I'll stretch that. I'll give the credence to that. So it probably does go Percy, then Lance, then Gnossians, then Pelgard, and finally, honestly, this may sound crazy, I really like Ironside. I'm a huge Ironside fan for absolutely no reason. I can't tell you why verbatim, but it do be like that when it be like that. So I'm a huge Ironside fan. So that's probably like my top 5 purely introduced characters, which is funny because it's like the Knights, non-Knight, and then 2 Chaos Knights, which is very interesting. But those are my top 5, both power-wise and character-wise. For Pop's other questions, my favorite D in Chainsaw Man. See, I'm gonna automatically exclude characters like Pochita and like Yoru and stuff like that. In fact, I'll exclude any of the Horsemen because I feel like that's kind of cheating. Like, I could just sit here and be like Makima, and you'd be like, really? But just because I do like the character conflict. And honestly, Pochita, while he's an interesting character, we just don't have enough of him for me to be like, yeah, I really like Pochita. And while I like Yoru in her journey so far, it's not like she hasn't necessarily become my favorite just yet. Actually, considering I feel like she falls under like the Makima slash Pochita slash Fami slash Nayuta thing where like, yeah, you're D's, but like you're so human, doesn't really count. I think in that case, my favorite would have to be overall probably Splagooter. Like I don't know. They just have so much well-adjusted narrative impact. They are the catalyst for numerous characters. They're getting used right now in a really interesting way. And honestly, I think the application of their power is also really interesting. If you had to ask me how to create a character with that concept and base superpowers around it, I don't think I would have gotten as creative or as out there as Fujimoto did. So overall, I think this Splagooter is my favorite in Chainsaw Man so far. Though definitely, I may do a tier list of like all the D's and like actually rank them. But then again, it's not like a lot of them have that much time in universe. So I think Splagooter just gets a lot because of his narrative weight. Because it's not really a character. And I guess that's the concept, right? He's a D. He's a concept. So like he can't really have too much character. But thank you, Purpop, for all your support. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move on to the next question by Maple Riot. Do you know about JJK fan animations and what is one of your favorites? I know of them because I've seen them, but I can't like name a distinct favorite off the top of my head. There's one, I keep seeing one clip. It's of Gojo versus Sukuna. And it's very particularly like them walking out of a building. Like it's the end of their first like real start of their duel, not 223, but 224. It's the end of that. It's like the keyframe animation, essentially what Mappa would be doing in order to animate it themselves. I think it's so well done. I love how they do Sukuna's hair. I love how they do Gojo's hair. I love how they do the animations. They gave Gojo a lot of bounce. Like it works really, really well. I don't know the name of it. I don't know the creator of it because admittedly I'm not too tapped into the animation sphere. You can tell by how much I cover manga on the channel. Despite being a guy who appreciates and deeply respects the field of anime, I actually don't engage with it that much. I don't know why. It's a me problem. Don't get me wrong, it's 100% a me problem. But I don't. So that's like I don't have too much of a pulse on JJK fan animations. But if you have any that you would like to recommend me to react to or watch or anything like that, please let me know. Of course, I'm gonna do more like anime battle breakdowns as long as the heavens don't open and try to spear me down for daring to touch the mystical magical anime. But like that being the case, I'm gonna do more stuff of the main anime. But if you guys have any fan animations from any of the series I cover, it doesn't just have to be JJK. It could be Four Knights. It could be Seven Holy Sins. It could be I cover a lot of stuff on the channel now. Golly. It could be Dan and it could be literally anything I cover. Record Ragnarok fan anime, like anything. I do not mind. But let's see. I feel like I should know one. Sorry about that, Maple Riot. But that's all I got. So them walking out of a building just because of how cleanly it's animated, in my opinion. But let's move on to the next one. Thank you so much for your support. Aiden Simmermaker. Do you keep up with the One Punch Man manga? Yes, but I don't review it. I don't know, something about it. I think it's the inconsistent release schedule, but I actually am caught up on One Punch Man. Would y'all want me to review that too? I don't know, I'm looking at the roster. So far, in fact, let me see if I can just list off the current roster at the moment. Off the top of the dome piece. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I can just go to my playlists. I do have like a full, mostly laid out plan. Like I want like 10 series to be covered. I could use some more weekly series or bi-weekly series, and One Punch Man is like just relatively inconsistent in terms of when it gets published because it's Murata. Let's see. I'm caught up on the manga, by the way, not the webcomic. Though I have loose ideas of stuff from the webcomic, but I know the webcomic and the manga have diverged in a whole bunch of ways. Like a bunch of the webcomic fans hate how Gar was handled in the manga, and from like what I know of the webcomic, I don't exactly blame them. Let me see. So Dan, Hunter x Hunter, but once again, I'd love Togashi. Don't know when he's gonna not be able to do that anymore. Shinobi Undercover, Frieren, Ichi the Witch, Gachikuda, so that's 6. Oh no, please, don't sneeze. Kagurabachi, that's 7. Blue Lock, Episode Nagi, that's 8. Regular Blue Lock, that's 9. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, that's 10. Moa. Four Knights, and Chainsaw Man, that's 12. Undead Unluck, that's gonna end soon, so that's 13. Sakamoto Days, 14. Oh, I still need to. Gosh, I keep forgetting about the Black Clover. I gotta go record that. Black Clover, that's 15. Though I think that's gonna end soon too. But of course, it comes out tri-monthly, so I don't expect too much from it. Dragon Ball Super is supposedly gonna come back, so that's 16. And yeah, MHA is over, something like that. So far, I have 16 series covered on the channel, but they come out at such different intervals that I'm more than fine with adding One Punch Man if y'all want me to. I am caught up. That would be like I can hop on it right now kind of thing. Where at least with Dan, I asked y'all and I need to read. If y'all want me to just review One Punch Man, I would not mind. I'd be happy to do it. But let me see. Oh, just thank you so much for that question. I hope that satisfied you. And for the second one you left, Aiden, if you had to pick an unexplored aspect of Senlei Sin's world, i.e. Meliodas versus Elizabeth, real Gother's backstory, etc., to appear in Four Knights, what would you choose? Or a couple options, because there's a lot Nakaba didn't give us. So specifically to include in Four Knights, if we're not getting like a side or separate chapter, like Nakaba lied to us about with the Meliodas versus Elizabeth, because I think he said like in an interview one day, oh yeah, I'm going to show that fight. It's been years. We're never seeing that fight. But with it being the case, specifically dealing with Four Knights, the one I want to see the most is the creation of the world. I want to see that because I think it's important. Because that's the thing. I would just say Mel versus Elizabeth, and you could definitely build that into a Tristan plot line. Like, say he visits the Celestial Realm or wherever they ended up fighting. He ends up visiting that landmark, and one way or another, like ultimately, boom, he gets the understanding of what it means to be the peak of darkness and the peak of light. Like, you can definitely work that in. But considering Meliodas and Elizabeth have been reduced so deeply to side characters. And so far, shockingly enough, Tristan, despite all his time being explored as a character, he still actually hasn't gotten that much. So I'm not sure if Nakaba would dedicate too much time to it, despite Tristan being the son of the main characters of the previous series. I would want to see the creation of the world, because I feel like it would be so heavily impacted. And maybe not just our world, or like the main Senlei Sin's universe, but literally all the worlds. Like, I'd love to see how the Supreme Deity created the Celestial Realm, the Demon King created the Demon World. Like, because realistically, as much as like lays that creation feat, it's one panel. It's a statement, even. Like, they didn't exist. They existed. They didn't exist. And of course, that's just how chaos works. But it would be neat to see, like, the effects it had on them, if any at all. How they did it. Like, at least in Cursed by Light, we see when the Supreme Deity creates something, she created that sun. It really wasn't nearly the full scale of a sun, but she created nuclear fission in front of her face. Like, I would have loved to see maybe the Supreme Deity open her palm and then a star came out in the planet, and, like, she literally created that realm. I love to see them actually tear the time space open. Because, like, a lot of the time, Nakaba kind of just cuts. But I know Nagaba's art style, it could be really interesting to see, and it could play into the moral conflict of the knights actually breaking Camelot, and breaking any of the realms, possibly breaking those barriers one way or another, or reestablishing them, something along those lines. I think that could be interesting because of how important it is for the rest of, like, the context of Four Knights. On a more personal character level, yeah, it would just be Mel versus Elizabeth. It's literally the whole reason the series happens as we know it. It is undeniable. It's why I made that video forever ago. It is undeniably the most important fight in the entire manga that we never get to see. You may be like, well, what about Mel and Elizabeth versus the Supreme Deity and Demon King? That wouldn't have happened without the Mel and Elizabeth fight. Mel and Elizabeth being in love wouldn't have happened. Merlin's scorn creating chaos in Nestle Four Knights wouldn't have happened. A lot of stuff would not have happened if it wasn't for that fight. It's the most important fight in the gosh darn manga, and we don't see it. I know that my L fans are going to be like, but what about my L? It doesn't matter. Your boy got washed and ran away. I'm sorry. I feel like I always get way too visceral towards my L fans. Especially when he's like one of my favorite characters. Like, well, that may be spoilers for a video, but like, my L's in my top 3. If not top 2. You asked me on the wrong day, or the right day, I suppose, for my L fan. He's number 1. Like, I really like my L's character. I say character. Power scaling wise, though, unless I'm using him to solo reverse, I don't glaze him too much. But there we go. Aiden, hope you enjoyed that answer. And thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support in particular. And I'd like to move on to Calvin Elder. You are my glorious, legendary. I'm gonna get you that kidney one day. It may not be mine. It may be like a goat kidney. I'm getting you a kidney. Because I'm mustering up like the will to go to a con. Like, I want to go to a con so I can actually meet some of y'all. Like, it's nice to talk to y'all through the comment section and stuff like that. And on like the once in blue moon that I'm on Discord. But I would actually like to meet some of y'all in person and like actually interact with y'all. So I am planning to go to a con. I just need to figure out which one. I'd love to go to DreamCon, but it's like always super expensive for me to get there, and also the ticket. And at the same time, I'd love to go to Comic-Con, but the ticket's also just super expensive. So I'm trying to find some sort of con or some sort of event where I can go to and meet y'all, and hopefully tell y'all at least 6 to 7 months in advance, so anyone who does have to travel there also can like plan in advance. I'm still looking into that though. But with it being the case, he's getting a kidney one way or another. He's that guy with the pencil here patron, and I owe him more body parts than I can count. But with it being the case, you are forced to destroy all memories pertaining to a single anime or manga, both mediums if applicable. Which is it? Now, there are 2 ways to interpret this, as in destroy it and never interact with it again, or destroy it and then get to re-experience it again. Going with the more negative angle, I think I'd probably just like hard wipe. And it's straight up. If I could just hard wipe SA over my mind, I would not be mad. Like, it's there. And like, honestly, it was, I don't know, it was my gateway anime. So maybe that would like mess up the timeline. Like, I'd be wondering, what even got me into this mess? But because technically SAO was, I'm a weird guy. It was my first like anime where I knew it was an anime and I acknowledged it as an anime. Yes, that's the case. It wasn't Family Sins. So I think I'd do that, if only for the fact that that's time I'm never going to get back. And honestly, reflecting on it, I'm like, what did I see in that show? The animation was good. The animation was very, very good in season 1. But still, I don't know what I saw in that show. There's a reason I have, in my literal 3,500 plus videos on the channel, this is probably the first time I've ever actually mentioned Sword Art Online. Despite it being the origin point of the channel in a weird roundabout way. And I didn't watch the anime, there would be no that on the pencil. But I'd wipe it in an instant. It got weird. It got real weird. But with that being the case, in a positive way, wipe it and experience it. Single anime or manga. See, that's hard. That's hard. Once again, ignoring like timeline stuff, just wiping the memory. To experience it for the first time again, it's like, what would I do? What would I sacrifice? I'd probably sit back and hard sacrifice something along the lines of like, I'd love to read Magi again for the first time. Reading Magi again for the first time was crazy. Same thing with out of high school. Like, even definitely said, again, maybe I don't want to wipe that. Not even for the timeline stuff, but just like, who knows? That's a long read through again. Honestly, for a first, I would love to re-experience Dragon Ball for the first time. And I'd love to see my opinions. Because obviously, like, I know some of the series I cover now, I would have never covered in the past. Like, my taste has evolved and changed. So, like, when I first experienced Dragon Ball, which, admittedly, you want to talk about my actual first baby anime, it was Pokemon. But right after that, it was Dragon Ball. I am ultimately a Dragon Ball kid. And I'd love to just wipe it and experience it for the first time again right now and then see what I would think about it. I'm not sure if I'd be more positive, more negative. I would love to just hard wipe Dragon Ball. Because I've read the entire manga, cover to cover, and I've watched the entire anime, back to back. That's like the one anime I sat down and watched. And admittedly, that was when I first got obsessed with anime, and my dad had the Blu-rays and stuff like that. So like I just and I took them and I would watch that. But that'd probably be it, because it's a long series that also is like probably fundamentally responsible for who I am today. So just wiping that and experiencing it for the first time all over again, that'd be crazy, in a good or bad way. That'd actually be interesting. But there's your answer, Calvin. Thank you so much for your support. Sweet Mother Mercy, I'll find you that kidney. But with it being the case, let's hop onto the member side of things. Those were all patron questions. Let's hop over to our members and go with Red Wolf 4765. What's your favorite kind of chicken? Now, this question genuinely haunted me for a little bit. The first time I saw, like, this was one of the few that I actively went out of my way to respond to. I was like, I got you. But then I sat down after saying I got you, and I was like, what is it? But honestly, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And like going back and forth. Because there are three types. The three types that came to mind. It was grilled, it was fried, and then it was, actually no, I think it's just those two. It's grilled and fried. But then I think it was, I got how I liked it cooked down. And then I thought, okay, but what part of the chicken do I like the most? I think grilled chicken breast is probably my thing. And hear me out. It's not just because I like the taste of it. It's also because it's like the most diverse thing ever. Like, you can almost, it's like the ketchup and honey mustard of protein. Like, sometimes you gotta get into certain, well, admittedly not me, because I'm a horrifically down atrocious meat. Well, that sounds so bad. But like, I love meat. It's gonna come out weird no matter what I say. I love me some meat. Alright? So like, I can eat steak whenever steak exists. But I know there's a lot of people who like, you know, you can only have steak a certain time in a certain place. And while I love me a good Philly cheesesteak, I love me a good just steak in general. I'll even take like a steak burger, like just put steak on bread, I'll eat it. There are some people, myself included, sometimes, you know, maybe I don't feel like steak. It's not like an everyday kind of meal thing. And also, it's kind of limited in its diversity. Meanwhile, with like grilled chicken, you can put that, well, you can put that on a tortilla, you can put it on a bun, you can put it as like an accent piece to other things. Like, you can enhance almost everything with grilled chicken. Like darn near anything. It's like the most diverse thing. Chicken bacon ranch quesadilla, a grilled chicken sandwich, a grilled chicken empanada. Like, well, not empanada, but like they're actually maybe, but still, there's so many different things you can do with grilled chicken. You can just eat straight grilled chicken. Like it is the most roundabout form of chicken. I like fried chicken, which I know people are gonna be like, but no, not even that. Like, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of like most fried chicken, but then again, I have a family member who cooks it real well, so my taste buds are like spoiled on it. But like fried chicken is versatile too. But I don't know, I never really got into like fried chicken in a tortilla or like in a quesadilla or in a burrito. Like it's gotta be grilled. It's gotta be grilled. I can't do double bread, if that makes sense. I can't do the breading that goes around fried chicken, even if it's like light breading, and then put that in a tortilla. So it's like, it just doesn't do it for me. And I feel like grilled chicken is like the most consistent because you're just getting the straight protein. Sometimes I've had many bad experiences, whether it be with nuggets or be with even some chicken bones and stuff like that, where bone-in chicken, where like I will bite into it and it's 99% breading. I wanted fried chicken, not fried breading with a dash of chicken. Meanwhile, with grilled chicken, they can give you like real thin sliced pieces of grilled chicken breast, but like on average, you cannot scam somebody out of that because it is just straight protein. And like obviously, ever since I've been trying to eat more properly, it's so good, and it's not necessarily that high calorie. Steak is horrifically high calorie, has a whole bunch of fats in it. Chicken, it's delicious, it's nutritious, and it's not actually that high calorie. So overall, I think I'm a grilled chicken kind of guy. Red Wolf, what's your favorite actually? I don't know. You comment in every single video, but I actually know what your favorite is. Like typically, I'll always hit the chicken noodle, like what, and then the stream will go. And sometimes people come in with their own combos, but it's like stuff. What's your favorite Red Bull? But of course, I hope you guys enjoyed that answer. Thank you, Red Bull, for your support. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move on to the final Q&A question for this Bichamo. G Prosper. Honestly, some Dragon Ball Super would be nice. Who's your favorite character? Specifically, if I'm limiting myself to super characters. You know what? I'll kick out Beerus and Whis because I feel like that's still cheating. Like they are technically Dragon Ball Z characters, even though like technically they aren't. Like they are, but they aren't. If I had to limit myself to super characters, it's a tie. It's a hard tie between Hit and specifically Goku Black. Zamasu's fine. Don't get me wrong, but there's a reason I made like whole Goku Black video. And I think overall, just because of my interest in the character, I like Hit because he's cool and strong. And I like time powers. So me! But guess who else is cool and strong and kind of sort of has time powers and also just has a really good design and is Toriyama showing he can basically do anything and I will still enjoy it. Toriyama actually made Evil Goku canon and made it somewhat interesting and played with it really, really well. I love the whole corruption of the pure nature of Goku Black and how he sort of needs to give into those more feral and bestial instincts and how he struggles with it. It's like super cooked with Goku Black. I'm okay with Jiren. like that. I'm fine with him. He's alright. He's not nothing crazy. That's kind of how I feel about Champa. That's kind of how I feel about, like, a lot. I mean, I actually do like Zeno. I like Zeno as a concept, and I like his execution. I do think it's hilarious that this tiny little fellow who could probably, like, stand on my hand is literally the strongest Dragon Ball character in terms of the main series. Obviously, once you go to the extra materials, he's not, but still, I love Zeno as a concept. And once again, I do love Beerus and Whis. If I had to include them, quote unquote, it would be Beerus. Whis following closely behind, and once again, that's a depending on the day kind of thing. You could ask me one day and I'll say Beerus, and you could ask me one day and I'll say Whis. But a lot of the other adjacent characters, like, I just don't really do it for me. Like, the Universe 6 Saiyan concept is unique, and I'm nowhere near as mad at the back tingly thing as I was when it first came out. But like, Caulifla, Kale, Kaba, none of their designs really do it for me. I like it because he's cool. Who else we got? Boltamo? I'm not going to use Frieza, or what, Tagoma? Whatever, who was introduced. I could say Broly, but also not really. I actually do, ironically enough, I'm one of the few who likes, like, first movie Z Broly, at least knows the personality more than Super Broly. I know Super Broly is way more tragic and way more interesting a character, but, like, he kind of just loses any sort of character the moment he starts fighting. He's just an angry rage machine who grows stronger. Meanwhile, at least first movie Z Broly had, like, a character and was actually good at fighting. But, yeah, I'm not sure. And don't get me wrong, I like Moro. I like Granola in concept, much less in execution. I think Granola is kind of a fumble bag. And same thing with the heaters. So overall, Super has had its moments. Don't get me wrong. I still love Ultra Instinct. But in terms of my favorite character, it probably is Goku Black. I think he is the most interesting, the most fleshed out, the most time. Like, a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of the other villains either don't get, or whatever they do get isn't necessarily that interesting. Or they just fall off hard. Looking at you, Granola. Looking at you, Gas, and the heaters in general. And looking at you, Moro. But overall, thank you, G-Props, for so much for your support. This is the end of the first Q&A. Of course, if you want to leave your own Q&A questions, the tab for it will be going live tomorrow. Probably should have done a better announcement of this, but yeah, I'll do it like this. So I'll post the Q&A questions themselves on the second for each side for the patrons and members. You guys can leave your questions there. I'll probably try to post it around like midday. I'll schedule it to post it around midday, so y'all can like have access to it. I will scroll back to it around like the middle of the month. I think I'll give like a 15-day window. I waited super duper long for this one just in case anyone wanted to add any late questions, and it worked out because someone did leave a relatively, actually no, like I may just do 2 weeks. I may like record it around the 15th and then post it on the 1st, or at least towards the end of the month, and I'll answer any of your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the live Q&A. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, well, not live. Hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave A and Q. A and Q in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below, you can support me for as little as $1. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as little as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include access to this monthly Q&A series in of itself, ad-free ratings of all my videos, and if you become a $12 Patreon and $20 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Back on the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zara, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Brandon Payne, Glacier XZ, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 members: A+A, Ignil Lind, Kevin Encarnacion, Midnight Lord 21, and Sean. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members: Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchiha, and Yuki Ally. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: AZ Void, J Warrior, and Robbie Uchiha. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our $10 patrons: Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami. And I'd like to give a final gracious gargantuan thank you to our $100 That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.